It's not part of a work session, but I figured I'd take just a couple minutes, give Paul the floor to provide a briefing on our water conservation ordinance. It's posted on your agenda. He has been noodling on this and wanted to present perhaps another option for the council to consider. Paul?
Thank you, Bradley. Mayor and Council, Lisa and I have been noodling this afternoon on this, and we certainly have been cognizant of the input that we've received from citizens and just in discussions generally about this. And what we'd like to propose for your consideration, not necessarily a vote tonight, unless that's your pleasure, of course, but something for the council to think about. We think maybe the simplest way to approach this is to say that in our conservation part of our plan, we would go with 3-day-a-week watering instead of the 2 that's in the plan now. I think that meets most of the input that we've received and provides a transition, because right now we don't have any restrictions at all, so the conservation plan would be 3 days a week, and we'll provide those days to you at the next meeting. And then the other part is we would like to change stage 1 drought restrictions, or stage 1 elevation, from 455, which is about 72% full, up to 457, 80% full. And then at that point, it would shift to 2-day-a-week watering. So it would be part of our drought contingency plan. So we'd do 3-day-a-week year-round. If we go to stage 1, which would be at 457 or 80% of the lake would be full, we would then transition to 2-day-a-week at that point. So I feel like that meets most of the comments that we've received, provides some transition from 7 days a week to 3 now, and then if in fact we go to stage 1 when the lake's down 20%, then we'll shift to 2 days at that point. So that's something we'd like for you to consider. Again, don't have to necessarily make that motion tonight if you're not comfortable with it. If you are, great. And we'll bring back the exact days of watering at the next meeting. We just want to make sure that we have 1 day in that week, in the time period that allows to balance the system, do maintenance and some other things when there's not as much demand on that day.
I'm glad you said that. Is it going to be too much pressure if you do get those 2 days back to back, so you can, instead of the 1 day, to restore the numbers? I mean, because I know that was one of the discussion points when we were doing 2 days, because you have the opportunity to do the offset days for the different amount, the different citizens, but would allow 2 solid days to restore. Can that happen, or is that too much usage in that whatever 1 day that everybody's using?
If we can keep Wednesday is a good day for us, because the way our staffing works and it allows us to do more maintenance on Wednesdays. And so if we can keep Wednesdays open in that 3-day schedule, that will help us balance workload, do maintenance and other things on that day. And then once we go to 2 days, that will of course free up more days in the week to do maintenance as we need to. So we think we can get there with a Wednesday, leaving Wednesday as a no watering day.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that everything that needed to be done from the staff perspective can be done. And if it needs to be 2 days, it needs to be 2 days.
We think if we go to 3 days, no watering on Wednesdays will give us what we need to do the maintenance we need to do.
Okay.
Paul, can I ask, still a feature of this, you've kind of outlined what would be the modification since this last was presented to us, but the period on every day from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. would still be a no watering time of day. Is that correct, for evaporation reasons?
That is correct, yes sir.
Okay.
That is correct.
And the idea here is maybe give an extra day for watering so that it doesn't mirror kind of the drought restrictions that we just came out of year round, but we start getting everybody on a more conservation-minded
yes, sir.
Schedule. Is that the thought?
Yes, sir, it is. Right now in our conservation plan, we allow watering on every day. And so we think 3 days is a fair approach rather than the 2 days that were in the proposed ordinance. So we'd make that change.
And by going into drought stage 1, when lake level hits 80%, we begin getting in conservation mode at a bit earlier,
little
or
bit
is that right? Is that fair to
Yes,
say?
sir, we do. It would be a little bit earlier. Again, right now, we're at 72% full, or 455 feet of elevation. We'd go to 457 to that 80% number. You know, you'll be at 457, you'd see the lake would be about 5 foot low. So you'd start, citizens and others would start seeing that visible change in the lake and the need to move to more stringent restrictions. And again, you know, irrigation watering, although we all love flower beds and lawns and things to look great, you know, when the lake starts falling, you know, that's a good sign that we need to cut those back and be more conservative with our water usage outdoors.
Thanks, Paul. Could you speak to what these restrictions would impose on folks that have vegetable gardens and things like that in their yards, if they were to hand water those to make sure that they could stand up to the test of the Texas summer heat? What would that look like for them?
So the hand watering, and Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, the hand watering would be on the days that your watering days.
Okay.
So if we were at 3 days a week, no?
Hey, if you hand water, you can water.
I'm sorry, hand watering can be any day, anytime,
It's on
sorry.
the sprinkler systems.
This is what.
But to state clearly for the record, hand watering.
And watering would be allowed at all times.
5 days, 7 days. 7 days a week.
Let the word go forth. Yes, sir, that is correct, I'm sorry. Thanks, Lisa.
If you have a garden, you can water it by hand 7 days a week.
Sir?
Getting all yeses? Put it in the record. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
My lawn anyway, first restrict that.
Telling me, I tried.
Same here.
That's a good fight.
I appreciate, I don't think I'm ready to vote on it tonight, but just if we could get the red line and what all that looks like of the ordinance itself. Because let me back up. I appreciate staff kind of looking at this and getting feedback from maybe each of us and also constituents and citizens, and synthesizing that into sort of a middle ground. Because I think, and I've been telling people, you went through the president, CDM Smith, is that who it was? Last time? Great presentation. Talking about raising the lake level, $500 million. Okay, that's a nice one, but kind of expensive. The second one is the Brazos River Authority, kind of getting permitting into that, which is a good idea too, but we're told to take 3, 4, 5 years to kind of get that going, and you'd have to do some other things as far as pumping and all that. So that one, expensive and takes a lot of time. The third one, which I would like to, is potable, using more non-potable where we're using potable, but even that has some purple pipe challenges and some infrastructure challenges. So I think the one that jumped out and staff, appropriately highlighted it is conservation. Let's do what we can to which most other cities are doing, as you pointed out. So again, the first round out of the box, we got some feedback. You're coming up with I think a nice solution here. I like both of those concepts. One question I have is the change included some surge pricing, right, or some, turbo pricing, or whatever we call it on.
Yes, sir.
Will that stay the way it is in the next iteration? Okay.
Yes, it will stay.
As we see the draft of that, we'll talk about it then.
It increases as the stages progress. Okay.
Thanks, Paul.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Paul, thanks, Lisa. I really appreciate, this is something that's really important that we get right. Water conservation is going to be really critical to our future. So look forward to voting on this. These measures, we are committed to ensuring that we protect our water capacity for the years ahead. And I know that there's been some tinkering going on, but I feel really confident that this council is going to land in the right spot. And we'll be able to move forward together to ensure that we have a great water supply for the years ahead. So thanks to staff for all their hard work on this matter.